Stupidly epic. Hello everybody, welcome back to You Got 5 Minutes. Today's game is Nioh. From Tecmo Koei, as it says down in the bottom corner there, with that horrible watermark that nobody wants to see, but they just have to have it there for some reason. Anyway guys, this is flipping Team Ninja's attempt at doing like a Dark Souls kind of game. And you know what? It's really good. It's a really good attempt at doing a Dark Souls game. I actually find it faster and more fluid than a Dark Souls game, because it kind of does away with all that. You know how like in Dark Souls it's like everything ends up being a duel. Like you always hold up your shield, you always kind of try to circle around and get the backstab or whatever like that. Maybe that's just me, but like that gets kind of boring. At least when you're like a flipping samurai, you're going about with your sword and you're just hacking and slashing it. It feels like you know, like Ninja Gaiden style. You know, it's maybe the same developers, so like they're kind of combining that speed and fluidity of motion that you remember from like a Ninja Gaiden game, but are giving it like the kind of Dark Souls kind of treatment. So like if you get killed, you go back to your warp point, and everybody's all respawned again. You know, so it's got that same sort of thing, but an awful lot more gear dropping in this game. Like every other person drops a piece of gear that you can, like maybe even 2 or 3 bits of gear that like you're able to equip, and it's very gear heavy, this game. But yeah, it's I really like the combat system. It's in Dark Souls you use the shoulder buttons, so you would use like R1 to hold up your shield, sorry, L1 to hold up your shield, and you would use R1 and R2 to do like weak and heavy attacks with your weapon. Depending if that's your setup, obviously. I mean, you can have like a bow in your offhand as well or whatever, but in this one it's like you can have up to 4 weapons equipped at once, 2 main melee weapons and 2 ranged weapons. So because this is set in feudal Japan, you can get like flintlock rifles and things like that, but you can also have bows. You can have your swords. You've got swords, you've got spears, you've got double sort of mini swords. You've got axes, you've got war hammers. Like, yeah, it's like quite an awful lot of like cool weapons for you to try out. And the thing that differentiates differentiates this game from like a Dark Souls is you've got stances in this game. So as you can see in the bottom right hand corner there, you've got like the little silhouettes of the character like holding his sword out there. So if you're holding R1, you can switch to each stance by using one of the face buttons. So like the high stance is hold R1 and tap triangle. Middle stance is the one that I'm usually using here, which is hold R1 and tap square. You know, it's laid out to the same areas as the buttons of your controller. So you can get the low stance by R1 and cross, and you put your sword away by holding R1 and tap and circle. And these are different stances based on what you want to accomplish. Like what kind of style do you prefer? Do you prefer a more balanced style? Is the kind of style that I'm going for now, the kind of middle stance. High stance is like for power, low stance is for speed, and but that you can do that with all the different weapon types. Like you can have like speed stance with like war axe, and it's like even though the war axe is like a big heavy weapon, you can do fast, quick motions with that heavy weapon using the low stance, or like the high stance would be even more powerful, like big, heavy, you know, takes ages to like execute sort of the move sort of thing, you know. But yeah, as you can see, it's very dark. So it's all about conserving your stamina. In this game, it's called ki. Each character has a key bar as well, so like as you're fighting them you can see their health, but you can also see their key. And if you drain their ki, that sort of puffs them out. That kind of makes them have to stop for a second. So that gives you an advantage. They can't block or anything like that if their ki is out. See, I picked up a bow earlier there, and bows are amazing in this game, by the way, because you can actually headshot folk and it kills them straight away. But yeah, you've got it's got this kind of feudal Japan setting, but it's also got this kind of Onimusha vibe as well, because there's an awful lot of demons that you're fighting in the game. Like the portion that I'm showing you just now will be primarily like just normal humans that you're fighting. Like I might be fighting like a couple of like skeleton characters here or there, but yeah, this is the main sort of like the first main mission after the sort of tutorial getting you out of prison at the start of the game. The game controls totally differently from like a Dark Souls as well, because in this game you don't use the shoulder buttons to attack, or like you don't. I think you do use R1 to block, L1 to block, but you're obviously the guy's not got a shield, so you just block him with his sword, you know. In this game though, it's very it's like an action game. You've got to square for your quick attack, triangle for your heavy attack, cross is like if you hold it in while you're moving, you'll run. But if you tap it, you'll do a quick sort of sidestep or a dash or whatever, you know. So it's kind of like your dodge move. I can't remember what circle does. I think that's to access special abilities. Like I think if you sheath your weapon and you hold circle, like you'll do like a really quick slash or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it does. Then you've got the D-pad. The D-pad is your items down in the bottom left-hand corner there. As you can see, I've got like 3 healing items and 7 stones. So if I tapped left on the D-pad while I was aiming at someone, it would throw a stone at them, you know. Or if I was low on health, you can tap up on the D-pad and it'll give them like a wee boost of health. But yeah, it's Dark Soulsy or like Bloodborne-y without it feeling like it. Like I was worried, like when I bought it, I was kind of like, oh yeah, Nioh's on sale, like I'll get that. And then the more I thought about playing it, the less I wanted to play it, because I was kind of like, I'm kind of sick of the, not sick, just kind of, I suppose, tired of the sort of Dark Souls, Bloodborne sort of style of game, because I've played so much of that sort of style. But because this game, in terms of its gameplay, doesn't feel like the way you execute all this stuff, it feels more like a Ninja Gaiden style kind of game. I've not actually felt any, you know, I've not actually felt like, man, this is kind of boring or whatever, or I'm kind of sick of it already. I've not felt that, because it actually feels like a cool action game. And the over-the-shoulder shooting, you know, they've even taken sort of the sort of bow mechanics from, like, you hold R2 and that's him drawing his bow, and then you can tap you hold L2 to draw the bow and you tap R2 to shoot the arrow, you know. So it's like a proper actual shooting mechanic, rather than it being like some sort of weird mechanic where, you know, like, I don't know, like Yakuza Dead Souls or something like that, you know. So sometimes these games can be off a sometimes they can be off a weird with their shooting mechanics, but not this game. This game actually feels like, when you're shooting stuff, it feels like a proper shooter game, you know. You don't use guns all that much. It's mostly melee weapons and all that. But when you are shooting your bow, it feels like a good, you know, it feels good to shoot the bow, you know. As you can see, like, stuff dropping all the time, man. Like, you're just searching for items. See, like, there's another 2 items I've picked up. These red things on the ground as well. There's like red swords stabbed into the ground. That's where other players have died. So you're able to duel these characters, and if you beat them in a duel, you'll get like an item, like one of their pieces of gear or something like that they had. See, there's an undead guy there. But there are like bigger, because it's like a Dark Souls kind of game. Like all these. And this is just the starting area, so it really is kind of like, this is just the first level. but later on there are like bigger, harder demons, you know, like big brute characters and things like that. So yeah, yeah, it's weird because this is actually the first time I've actually played it. Like I did play the alpha when it came out ages ago, and that alpha kicked my ass. That was really hard, that alpha. But yeah, it's the first time I've actually sat down and started playing the full game since it came out. And yeah, having an awful lot of fun with this game, and it in no small part thanks to the fact that you're playing as like this awesome like samurai from the UK called like William Adams. He's like a total British guy. He's not like Japanese at all. He's like some British dude. Totally. But yeah, I think just show you a wee bit of the leveling up thing here. I think it really is like you earn. See, like the Amarita, that's like your souls if you were playing a Dark Souls game. So I've got 4,581 Amarita. You use that to like, it's essentially just Dark Souls, you know. Instead of souls, it's Amarita, and that's how you level your character up. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. Highly recommended. Like from what little I've played so far, this game looks like it's going to be flipping amazing. But yeah. I got the like the gold or the Game of the Year edition, and so that's come with all the DLC as well. So I'm looking forward to diving more into the game. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry for the late upload, but I'll see you next time. Bye. You should totally look up William Adams on Wikipedia. It's funny how legendary the guy is. I mean, like, he served under Tokugawa, the shogun of Japan, as his, like, advisor for everything to do with, like, Western culture. It's total nuts. He was like a total English samurai.